A portal trembles above you, Taurus, and December 2025 carries a vibration your soul can no longer ignore. Have you felt the air shift before dawn? Have you noticed a silence that feels too precise to be random? Have you wondered why your intuition whispers a chapter is ending? Because this month, an ancient code activates within your destiny. Nostradamus spoke of days when the heart would recognize a truth before the mind admits it. And now, a frequency rises around you, a revelation shaped like a goodbye. Something is leaving your life, Taurus, not as loss, but as initiation. And when this departure arrives, nothing you believe about stability will remain the same. Taurus, tell me something. Have you felt the quiet shifting beneath your days, as if something is rearranging itself just beyond the edges of your awareness? Have you noticed a soft tension in the air, not painful, but alert, like the world is holding its breath while watching you? Have you caught yourself staring into empty rooms as though expecting a presence to speak or a truth to rise from the silence? What if this feeling is not anxiety, but prophecy? What if the uneasiness that visits you at night isn't fear, but preparation? And what if the goodbye approaching your path is not a punishment, but a liberation written into your destiny long before you knew how to recognize endings? December 2025 opens like an ancient script, Taurus, not a month, but a threshold. Uranus continues its retrograde through your sign, shaking loose everything that has lingered past its purpose. Jupiter hums in Gemini, amplifying conversations, exposing truths, illuminating what no longer fits your frequency. The final new moon of the year rises like a blade of clarity, cutting gently but decisively through illusions. You are not imagining the shift. You are not being dramatic. You are not misreading the signs. You are being prepared, emotionally, spiritually, energetically, for a separation that has already been chosen for you. And here is the truth most Taurians resist. Some goodbyes do not wait for permission. Some endings do not consult your comfort. Some departures do not pause for your readiness. This is one of them. The blueprint of this goodbye is older than your fears, older than your routines, older than the roles you've clung to out of habit, loyalty, hope, or guilt. Something or someone in your life has been living on borrowed time, a connection, an obligation, a place, a pattern, one you've held on to not because it nourishes you, but because the idea of letting go felt too heavy, too disruptive, too final. You thought endurance was the same as devotion. You believed loyalty meant staying even when the soil turned barren. But the universe has watched your heart more carefully than you have. It has seen where your energy leaks. It has listened to the exhaustion you never voice. It has felt your soul shrinking to fit into spaces built for a version of you that no longer exists. And destiny, indifferent to your attachments but deeply committed to your evolution, has already made the decision you keep postponing. This goodbye is already in motion. Not in the dramatic way humans expect, not with slamming doors or broken words, but in the subtle cosmic dismantling that precedes every spiritual shift. Conversations feel strained. The atmosphere grows heavier. Your intuition whispers, "This is ending." Your body feels the truth before your mind allows you to admit it. The reference material spoke clearly. Something or someone will leave your life very soon, and there is nothing you can do to stop it. But the original did not tell the deeper mystery. Why this departure is necessary, why it is sacred, why it is unavoidable now. Let me reveal that to you. There comes a moment in every Taurus life when stability turns into stagnation, when comfort becomes confinement, when loyalty becomes self-abandonment, when holding on becomes heavier than letting go. And December 2025 marks that threshold for you. The universe is not punishing you, it is positioning you. You have outgrown something that refuses to grow with you. You have expanded beyond an environment that prefers the smallest version of you. You have awakened in a place that only recognizes who you used to be. This goodbye is not a collapse. It is an alignment. It is destiny correcting a timeline you would never have corrected yourself. Because here is the sacred paradox. You, Taurus, brave, grounded, steady, are terrible at releasing what is familiar. You cling to what you've invested in, even when the return has long expired. You remain faithful to people and patterns that would never make the same sacrifices for you. You endure pain quietly just to protect the peace of others. But the universe is no longer willing to let you shrink. Not in this month, not on this frequency. Not after everything you survived in the last 8 years of Uranus shaking your life from the inside out. Something must leave. Something will leave. Not to break you, to free you. And here is the part no one tells Taurus because they fear hurting you. When this goodbye arrives, you will feel relief. A deep, startling, almost guilty relief. A release so profound it feels like exhaling after holding your breath for years. A silence that feels like returning home. A stillness that feels like remembering who you are. Because what leaves you now is what has been draining your strength, fragmenting your intuition, and dimming your inner fire. This is the ending that gives you back to yourself. You do not need to force it. You do not need to choose it. You do not need to orchestrate it. The universe is carrying this weight for you. The separation you could never initiate alone. And in this sacred unfolding, Taurus, your only task is to accept the truth when it arrives, to honor the signal when it appears, to trust that the universe is not taking, it is restoring. Taurus, anchor this awakening by writing, I release what was never mine to hold, and I trust the goodbye that frees my soul. Write it with intention. Let the words open space inside you. Feel the universe respond as you claim what is already unfolding. And remember, if this message resonated with your spirit, leave your hype on the video, like, comment, share, and if your heart feels called, become a member of the channel. Every hype strengthens this sacred current, helps this space grow, and carries this light to other souls who need it. Taurus, before we walk deeper into this revelation, I want to ask you something that only the bravest can answer honestly. When did you first feel the fracture? Not the obvious shift, not the argument, the disappointment, the distance, but that first subtle tremor inside your chest that whispered, "This cannot continue." Do you remember the moment your intuition tightened, even as your mind insisted everything was fine? Do you recall the night you lay awake, staring into the dark, sensing that a chapter was closing long before life dared to close it for you? Why did you bury that knowing? Why did you pretend the truth was negotiable? Why did you hold on so tightly to something that had already released you energetically? Because you are Taurus, the keeper of foundations, the guardian of continuity, the one who believes that breaking is failure and staying is loyalty. But December 2025 is not a month for illusions, and the universe is not interested in your comfort, only in your evolution. The goodbye approaching your life is not sudden. It has been forming for months, perhaps years. Every quiet disappointment, every unspoken truth, every moment you felt invisible or drained became part of the architecture of this ending. Something that once held meaning has become misaligned with who you are becoming. And Taurus, you are becoming something greater, whether you see it yet or not. This month, as Uranus continues to retrograde in your sign, the ground beneath the facade begins to tremble, not violently, but undeniably. Jupiter in Gemini shines light on conversations you avoided. Mercury's final 2025 retrograde dissolves illusions you tried to preserve. The full moon in Cancer exposes emotional truths you were not ready to face. You are being cornered by truth, not to punish you, but to liberate you. Let me ask you again. How long have you been negotiating your worth? How long have you been tolerating situations that only loved the version of you that stayed small? How long have you been the emotional anchor for people who did not know how to show up for you? And more importantly, why do you still believe the burden is yours to carry? The reference text echoed this theme, that something or someone has been draining you for far too long, and the universe is intervening because you could not. initiate the separation yourself. But what it didn't explore is why Taurus hesitates and the deeper metaphysical cause of this resistance. You have mistaken stability for identity. You have confused consistency with safety. You have equated holding on with strength. But true strength, Taurus, is the ability to walk away without needing the ground beneath you to stay the same. This moment, this December, is the turning point between your old self and the self you are finally becoming. The universe cannot allow you to step into 2026 carrying the weight of what has already expired. Something in your life is no longer in resonance with your path, a relationship that no longer truly sees you, a responsibility that drains more than it gives, a version of yourself that exists only out of habit, not authenticity. You have outgrown the soil that once nurtured you. But tell me, why does the thought of letting go fill you with fear instead of relief? What are you afraid will happen if you stop holding everything together? What collapse do you think you must prevent? The truth is simple and uncomfortable. You fear emptiness. You fear the void that follows endings. You fear who you will be without the roles you have been living inside for so long. But here lies the cosmic irony. The void is not a threat. It is a beginning, a portal, a return. Something sacred is waiting to enter, but it cannot take form while your hands cling to what has already faded. So the universe is moving the pieces for you. You may notice people pulling away without explanation, conversations becoming shorter, colder, more fragile, opportunities dissolving as though they were never meant to last, your own heart withdrawing from what once felt essential. These are not losses, these are preparations. This is destiny correcting your trajectory. Every time you tried to leave but stayed, every time you suppressed your intuition to keep the peace, every time you endured what your higher self begged you to walk away from, the universe watched, patient but not passive. And now the cycle is ending, because you are ready in ways you do not yet understand. Let me reveal a deeper truth. Sometimes the universe orchestrates endings not because you failed, but because you succeeded, because you grew, because you healed. Because you expanded past the frequency of your old attachments. You are not being punished, you are being retrieved. Think carefully about this. Is the goodbye coming towards you truly a loss? Or is it the removal of the last barrier between you and your evolution? What if this separation is the answer to a prayer you forgot you made? What if the universe is protecting you from a future that would have trapped your potential? Something in you already knows. Your body knows. Your dreams know. Your spirit knows. And that's why you've been feeling that inner tension, that emotional restlessness, that subtle ache that cannot be named. It's the sensation of your soul preparing to step through a doorway your mind is still resisting. The ending is not the threat. The refusal to evolve is. December 2025 is the month where your inner truth becomes louder than your fears, where you cannot pretend anymore, where the version of you built from survival collapses into the version built for destiny. But the question remains. Will you let the universe remove what you refuse to release? Will you honor the shift unfolding through you? Will you trust that what leaves now was already gone long before the ending becomes visible? Because the goodbye has already been written, all that remains is your acceptance. And in that acceptance, a new frequency begins. Taurus, before you step further into this month's unfolding prophecy, let me ask you a question that may shake something deep inside you. How many times have you stayed somewhere long after your spirit had already walked away? Think carefully. Was it a relationship where your heart slowly turned silent, even though your hands kept reaching? Was it a routine that required the sacrifice of your joy just to maintain the illusion of stability? Was it a version of yourself, loyal, strong, dependable, that others praised while secretly draining you? And more importantly, why did you believe you had to endure all of this without questioning it? This moment, the one you are sitting in right now, is not a coincidence. It is the convergence of truths you have postponed for far too long. December 2025 doesn't merely open a chapter, it exposes what chapters cannot continue. Your soul has begun to rebel, not publicly, not dramatically, but quietly, in the way your chest tightens during conversations you used to tolerate, in the way your energy drops when you enter certain spaces, in the way your intuition whispers louder each day. This is not where you belong. Why do you think that is? Why do you think your body is speaking before your mind catches up? Why now? Because something is out of alignment. Something that once felt like home now feels like a cage. And the goodbye that approaches is not punishment, it is a course correction. The universe is guiding you back to yourself. But here is the uncomfortable truth. You have been negotiating your authenticity for so long that the idea of reclaiming it feels frightening. You have been shrinking in ways no one notices. You have been betraying yourself in small, quiet ways, the kind of betrayal that doesn't leave bruises, but leaves a spiritual fatigue you cannot hide anymore. Tell me, Taurus, how long have you been pretending you're okay? How long have you been carrying the emotional weight for others because you feared what would happen if you finally put it down? How long have you been the strong one, even when your own endurance had already reached its edge? Why do you think the universe is stepping in now? Look at the astrology. Uranus retrograde in your sign is stripping away the last illusions you have about permanence. Jupiter in Gemini amplifies conversations that force clarity. The December new moon brings beginnings only after it has removed what blocks them. And the full moon in Cancer stirs old emotions that were never resolved, urging you to confront what you avoided. This is not random. This is not chaos. This is alignment. But alignment often feels like disruption until the heart finally understands. You are standing at the intersection of two timelines, one built on comfort and one built on truth. Which one will you choose? Because the universe has already chosen for you. That is what makes this moment so powerful and so difficult. The goodbye that approaches is one you would never initiate on your own. You are too loyal, too patient, too determined to make things work even when the energy has long stopped flowing. But destiny no longer has the luxury of waiting for your courage to align with your inner knowing. Something must leave so that something else, something truer, purer, freer, can finally take its place. Let me ask you this. Are you truly afraid of the ending? Or are you afraid of what the ending will require you to admit? Because endings reveal truths. What you outgrew, what you tolerated, what you settled for, what you denied yourself, what you hid beneath routine, what you were too gentle to confront, and perhaps the most confronting truth, who you became just to keep the peace. You may not want to see these truths, but your soul does. Your soul is starving for authenticity. You feel it, don't you? That restlessness in your chest, that strange emotional exhaustion, even on days when nothing happened, that desire to withdraw not out of sadness, but out of clarity. It's not depression, it's not fear, it's not confusion. It's your soul preparing to reclaim space within your own life. The goodbye coming your way is not the destruction of something meaningful. It is the dissolution of something expired. For months, maybe years, you've sensed that something didn't fit anymore. You tried to repair what couldn't be repaired. You tried to stay where your spirit was no longer welcomed. You tried to force growth where the soil had turned barren. Why did you hesitate to leave? Was it love, or was it fear of being alone with your truth? Because truth, Taurus, is what this month demands. Truth about your limits, truth about your needs, truth about your desires, truth about your emotional exhaustion, truth about who you are becoming. Let me share something few people ever understand. Goodbyes are not always painful. Sometimes the pain is only the friction between your past self and your emerging self. Sometimes the real agony is remaining where you no longer belong. And sometimes, perhaps now, the universe frees you from what you cannot free yourself from. But here is the most sacred part of this revelation. The goodbye arriving is not the full story. It is only the first movement, because after the departure, after the release, after the silence, after the emotional dust settles, something extraordinary happens. Your soul begins to breathe again. Feel into that truth. Doesn't something inside you already know this? Haven't you already felt glimpses of peace, even while anticipating the ending? Haven't you sensed an odd calm beneath the fear? That calm is your future calling you. It is the echo of the life that awaits you once the weight is gone. It is the confirmation that the universe is not taking, it is preparing. The goodbye is not your collapse, it is your emergence. And by the time this transition completes, whether the goodbye is emotional, relational, environmental, or internal, you will look back and whisper to yourself, I should have released this long ago. December 2025 is the month your soul stops pretending, and once truth begins to rise, nothing can hold it back. Taurus, tell me honestly, have you noticed how certain situations in your life have begun to crumble without your involvement? Have you observed how some connections fade, no matter how gently you try to hold them? Have you felt the universe rearranging your days in ways that seem subtle on the surface, yet deeply intentional underneath? Why does it feel like life is dismantling something behind your back? Why does it feel like truths you were not ready to face are now rising with undeniable clarity? Why does it feel like December 2025 has become the month where every illusion finally reaches its expiration date? It is because the universe is intervening. There is a sacred law woven into the fabric of existence. When the soul is ready to evolve, anything that does not support that evolution must fall away. The falling away is not always dramatic. In fact, for Taurus, it rarely is. Your endings come quietly, not with storms, but with stillness. Not with explosions, but with a gradual detachment you cannot control. And that is exactly what you are living now. This goodbye, this inevitable unraveling, is not an accident, nor a mistake, nor an act of cruelty. It is the universe correcting a path you would never correct yourself. Let me ask you something deeper. Why do you grieve the departure of something that has not nourished your spirit in years? Why does the idea of losing what drains you feel heavier than the idea of reclaiming your freedom? Why do you cling to stability even when it is built on sacrifice rather than truth? Is it love, or is it fear disguised as loyalty? Because here lies the truth you have been avoiding. You cannot remain where your soul no longer grows. Not in relationships, not in environments, not in patterns, not in identities built for survival instead of expression. December is tearing the veil from your eyes, and you can no longer pretend you do not see. Look at what the cosmos is doing. Uranus retrogrades in your sign, shaking the last foundation that keeps you from change. Jupiter in Gemini amplifies communication, revealing hidden truths and unspoken frustrations. The full moon in Cancer exposes emotional wounds, forcing them into the open so they can no longer be minimized. The approaching solstice shifts the frequency of the year, pushing you toward alignment rather than stagnation. This is not gentle energy. This is reclamation. You are being pulled into a higher timeline, but something within your current reality cannot follow you there. Let me ask you directly, what part of your life feels heavy the moment you think about the future? Who or what brings tension, confusion, or emotional depletion when your intuition desires peace? Which connection requires you to shrink in order to maintain harmony? And why have you been pretending not to notice? The quiet collapse you feel is not happening to punish you. It is happening because you ignored the signals for too long. Those moments when you said, I'll deal with this later. Gee, this is fine. I can handle it. I don't want to think about this now. Every one of those statements delayed an ending that now arrives by cosmic necessity. You cannot hold on anymore, Taurus. Not because you lack strength, but because the universe refuses to let you drain your own life force any longer. There are two kinds of endings in life. One, the endings we choose. Two, the endings chosen for us. You avoided the first, so destiny activates the second. But here is the most important truth you must understand. This forced ending is not a loss. It is a rescue. You are being pulled out of a frequency that was lowering your potential. You are being released from an energetic bond that no longer supports your evolution. You are being disconnected from a cycle that exhausted your spirit without offering renewal. Think about it. How long have you been surviving instead of living? How long have you been hoping instead of receiving? How long have you been compromising your authenticity just to avoid disruption? Why do you fear endings when your soul is begging for a beginning? December brings the judgment you avoided, not a punishment, a clarity, a sorting of what can remain and what cannot accompany you into the next phase of your destiny. This month, the universe asks you a question you can no longer avoid. Will you choose your evolution or your comfort? Because comfort is the enemy of your destiny now, and you feel it, don't you? You feel the pressure building. You feel the emotional fatigue. You feel the subtle disconnection from what once mattered deeply. You feel the sense that something is over, even if it has not ended yet. What is ending is not just an external situation. It is the version of you that tolerated what your soul has outgrown. Let me reveal something few ever understand about spiritual exits. Sometimes relationships fade because your healing has accelerated. Sometimes opportunities dissolve because your future holds something bigger. Sometimes people step back because their presence served its purpose. Sometimes you are removed from environments because they cannot hold your expansion. Have you noticed how certain people seem less magnetic lately? How certain obligations feel heavier rather than fulfilling? How certain paths that once felt right now feel restrictive? You are not losing connection. You are losing resonance. Your frequency is rising. Your intuition is sharpening. Your boundaries are strengthening. Your soul is remembering. And the goodbye you fear is the doorway to the version of you that destiny has been shaping silently for years. Let me ask you a final question before we move to the next chapter. What if the goodbye you are afraid to face is the very thing that sets you free? Because that is the truth unfolding now. That is the truth the universe is revealing. That is the truth December refuses to let you escape. You are standing at the threshold, Taurus, between what was and what will be. And whether you step willingly or are guided by divine force, you are leaving the old behind. The collapse is not destruction. It is the clearing of the path destiny has been carving for you all along. Taurus, before we cross the final threshold of this revelation, breathe for a moment. Feel your chest rise and fall. Feel your feet grounding into the floor. Feel how far you've already come by simply acknowledging what your soul has whispered for months, maybe years. Now ask yourself, why does this moment feel so heavy and yet so strangely peaceful? Why does the idea of an ending frighten you, yet something within you feels relieved, almost grateful, even before it happens? What is this strange duality? Fear and calm, sorrow and clarity, loss and liberation, weaving through your spirit right now. It is because your soul already knows the truth. This goodbye is not an ending. It is an activation. You are not losing anything that belongs to your next chapter. You are not being stripped of anything essential. You are not being punished or abandoned. You are being aligned. But alignment, for Taurus, often arrives disguised as disruption. Why? Because you love continuity. Because you cling to the familiar even when it has long stopped nurturing you. Because you measure safety through stability, even when that stability costs pieces of your soul. Yet destiny measures safety differently. Destiny prioritizes truth over comfort, growth over routine, evolution over familiarity. December 2025 has been building toward this moment, the moment when you stop resisting the flow of your own becoming. Let me ask you something bold. What if the goodbye you're facing is the moment your soul has waited for since the beginning of this lifetime? What if everything you endured, every emotional ache, every disappointment, every cycle you felt trapped inside was preparing the ground for this liberation. What if the pain was not evidence of failure, but evidence of transformation? Because transformation always begins with unraveling, and unraveling always begins with a breaking point. Have you felt that breaking point rising within you, that subtle yet undeniable sensation that you cannot pretend anymore, that you cannot stay where your soul is shrinking, that you cannot be the version of yourself that others expect if it means abandoning the person you truly are? This is the doorway. This is the final revelation. This is where the goodbye becomes sacred. You are not stepping into a collapse. You are stepping into truth. But the truth requires courage. Courage to leave the familiar. Courage to release the roles you've outgrown. Courage to face the empty space that follows endings. Courage to meet yourself without your masks. Courage to trust that the universe will fill the void with something better, truer, freer. So let me ask you the questions. Destiny is whispering to your heart at this very moment. Who are you without the burdens you've been carrying? Who are you when you no longer silence yourself for the comfort of others? Who are you when you stop negotiating your worth? Who are you when you finally choose yourself? Because that is what this goodbye is really about. You, your truth, your power, your liberation. This is not the loss of something precious. It is the removal of something misaligned. It is the dissolution of a timeline that no longer resonates with the frequency your soul has risen into. A Taurus never collapses. A Taurus metamorphoses slowly, silently, powerfully, and the metamorphosis is reaching its final stage. You may feel waves of emotion this month: grief, nostalgia, anger, clarity, longing, relief. You may have dreams where you revisit memories that shaped you. You may feel drawn to quiet spaces or feel the sudden urge to reorganize your surroundings, your thoughts, your priorities. You may sense an inner pressure rising, not to break you, but to push you through the birth canal of a new chapter. Nothing is wrong. Everything is shifting. The ending that approaches is not random. It is karmic completion. It is the closing of a cycle you have outgrown. It is the release of an energy that cannot accompany you into your expansion. And here is a deeper truth. Sometimes the universe does not remove things from your life. Sometimes it removes you from theirs, because your evolution demands space, because your vibration has changed, because your soul refuses to remain where it is not seen. Let me ask you again, why fear the goodbye that frees you? Why resist the ending that restores your spirit? Why cling to a path that leads you away from your destiny? Because this is the moment, Taurus, the moment the universe has been preparing silently for years. The moment you step out of emotional survival, the moment you reclaim authorship of your life, the moment you remember the sound of your own voice. This is where the goodbye becomes the awakening. This is where the ending becomes initiation. This is where you finally say, I refuse to shrink any longer. And when you speak those words, even internally, the universe responds, because the universe has been waiting for you to choose yourself. When you do, everything changes, timelines shift, paths open, new allies appear, opportunities reveal themselves, your intuition sharpens, your spirit strengthens, your future brightens. Do you see what this means? The goodbye is not the point. The awakening is. Now, Taurus, before we close this grand cycle, before we finalize this journey, before I deliver the final energetic seal, I must ask you, are you ready to release what was never meant to follow you into your rebirth? If the answer is yes, then your destiny begins the moment this goodbye completes its sacred work. I surrender the ending that frees me and step boldly into the destiny that awaits. Write it, feel it. Let every word vibrate through your spirit as a declaration of self-awakening. And remember, if this message resonated with your soul, leave your hype on the video. Like, comment, share, and if your heart feels the call, become a channel member. Every hype strengthens this light, expands this sacred space, and brings this revelation to other Taurus souls who need it.